The day is finally here. The night of all nights. Happy Halloween. Greetings, YouTubers of the world. That's right, guys. It is finally Halloween, and the Vigilante is here to give you the last episode for the year on Mega Halloween Mixer. And I decided to go into a famous, well-known comic book that was adapted into a movie known as The Crow. Yes, guys, a film that was adapted from a comic book that was created back in February of 1989 by a man named James O'Barr and made and distributed by the Caliber Comics, a comic book that did so well. It made such a great success that it inspired the 1994 film known as the title of this movie, The Crow. And what a great movie this was, as it was performed by none other than Brandon Lee, who plays as the main protagonist of the film, Eric Dravens. Sadly, though, this was the final film ever that Brandon Lee ever acted in. But I will not go into the tragedy of that story. But nevertheless, despite that, it was his performance that brought this film real joyness and showing the mysteriousness and powers known only by the Crow. And not only was it his performance that made this movie such a great success, it was also the tone and direction that they filmed of it, with the dark, action packed superhero, lurid energy of the film, as it brought out the dark side and the vigilantiness and mysteriousness that came for when Eric Draven was brought back from the dead after he and his fiancee Shelley Webster were murdered by an underground gang that led into what the name of the movie is, The Crow. For a year later, a crow would bring Eric's soul back from the grave and make him become the Crow himself, a vigilante out for revenge for what they did to him and his fiancee. And yes, you better believe that Eric made sure of that as he tracked down each and every one of them, along with showing that is immune to death because he is already dead. And with the power of the Crow, he is practically invincible. With every kill he made, he left a symbol of the very thing that keeps him around. That is the symbol of the Crow. A great movie indeed this was, but it is not only Brandon Lee's performance that deserves praising. While he is the main focus of the film, the actors who played as the people who murdered him and his wife do their job as well, and standing performance by their boss, known as Top Dollar. For it was Top Dollar who was the one who orchestrated the whole thing that led into Eric and Shelby's death. And that shows that despite him taking care of the ones who murdered them, he was not completely done yet. As soon Top Dollar, who learned of his power and learned that you could take it from him by injuring the Crow and gaining his powers, fought his way to get such power. But luckily, with the help of Eric's friends, a girl by the name of Shelby, and a police officer played by Ernie Hudson, a famous and legendary actor himself. He was able to finally fully avenge his death, and once doing so, finally was able to rest in peace. And that, my friends, is the movie. But make no mistake, this movie became such a success. It sprung a it sprung a franchise of more Crow sequels. Sadly, though, none of them came to be as good as this one. I can at least say that I did like the second one. Not as much as the original, but enough to make me watch it from time to time. But but it wasn't just adapted from into a media franchise of more sequels and a TV series. It also brought inspiration upon other people. One such person, if you are a fan of wrestling, drew inspiration from The Crow, and that wrestler is known as Sting. Yes, guys, if you know Sting, he was very famous in his time within a company known as WCW and in TNA, where and now currently works for a company called AEW. For it was that for it was this movie that inspired him to create his crow gimmick in the 90s. And you better believe that wasn't the only thing that was inspired by The Crow. Many things were inspired by this movie. It's such a great success, and it is always a movie you want to look back into for the performance, the tone, the characters, and the inspiration it was brought from the original comic book. If you people are ever interested, I suggest you look for it. You can go to Amazon or other places to order it online. Until then, though, that is all for today, and that will be all for this year on Mega Halloween Mixer. And until then, I am the Vigilante, and like always, I enjoy doing these videos, and I thank MegaGeekMixer for allowing me to come out during this time of year. And I will all see you again next year. And until then, MegaGeekMixer will be returning now, and if you enjoy the videos, all you have to do is click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to be notified of the next video. Until next year, Vigilante is out. Bye-bye.